What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. Got a little bit of time to kill today before I make the trek to Memphis for Fit for an Autopsy. I'm taking my son to that concert tonight, as I've said that a few times on the channel already. This will be the first rendition of Seven Deadly Spins in 2022. I always say that I want to get on track and get back on board and keep pumping these Seven Deadly Spins out, and I always kind of lag behind. We have some 2021 stragglers, some releases that did not make my end of the year list. Had they arrived sooner and I spent a little bit more time with them, then perhaps there is one on this that I'm going to highlight here that definitely would have made it into that end of the year list because the album is that good. I enjoy doing these Seven Deadly Spins videos. I feel like I can kind of showcase and highlight some material to you guys that maybe you miss, maybe it just hasn't crossed your radar yet. Some new stuff. I always like doing that. That was the whole basis of this channel to begin with, was to kind of shine light on stuff for you guys to check out. And that's another reason why I like doing these Seven Deadly Spins videos. I'm just going to jump right into this. The first one that I'm going to show is a debut full length out of England. This is the debut from the Wolf Garden, entitled Woven of Serpent Spines. They released an EP back in 2018 entitled The Yawning Abyss that I absolutely loved. This full length expands and just kind of grows from the groundwork that was set with that EP. This is atmospheric black metal, almost introspective, nature-driven atmospheric black metal that kind of tells the story of a soul coming into existence and living out and perishing. The first track on this is entitled The Flood. The final track is entitled The Drought. And then you have everything unfolding within the story in between. It's just beautiful atmospheric black metal encompassed with some very powerful riffs, very memorable riffs. And this album kind of is a perfect shining example of UK black metal, and I absolutely love this. This was released on Nottermock Productions. I think this came out around October-ish of last year. It took a little while to get here as I ordered this from overseas. International shipping takes a while, so I will link this up in the description. I will link everything that I show up in the description. That way you can check this stuff out for yourself and kind of reserve your own judgments. But I do implore you to check out the Wolf Garden, especially if you're into atmospheric black metal. Up next, changing gears a little bit, we have some old school sounding death metal, kind of thrashy death metal out of Minnesota. And actually on the disc it says high speed death metal from the icy plains of Minnesota. This is the second EP from this project that I've shown on this channel. This is Begravement with the Anaphylaxis demo. I originally showed their previous EP entitled Conjuring the Necromancer that came out just about a year ago. I think like a year ago last week. This came out at the beginning of January, so the demos, the EPs were spaced about a year apart. This is only 3 tracks. But they've kind of, it's fun to watch this band. I guess, kind of grow. The members of this band are all very young. I think they all average about 19, 20 years of age. The fact that they are that young and that talented is a bit mind-boggling to me. This is only 3 tracks long, comes in about 15 minutes. My favorite track on this is the middle track, Jeffrey, which is only about a 2-minute track, but man, that track will absolutely blow you away. If you're into thrashy, old school sounding death metal, I highly, highly suggest that you check out Begravement. It is fun. It's exciting to see a band this young that is this passionate about what they're doing. They've added a bit of technicality in with this release, a bit more than was showcased on the first EP. And it's something I can get behind. I really enjoy what they're putting out there. I'm excited to see where they're going in the future. The last track, Anaphylaxis, that one's almost has like this goofy sound to it, almost like these fart noise sounds. I know that's not what they were going for. I don't think that's what they were going for there, but it's fun to see stuff like that, to know that they're not taking themselves too seriously and they're enjoying what they're doing. They also threw a couple stickers in with my order as well, so I figured I would just go on and show those. Definitely go check out Begravement if you have not done so. Just fantastic death metal out of Minnesota, and I really see that band going places in the future. Changing gears again, we have some Black Doom. This is a band out of Belgium. I was originally introduced to this band in 2015 with their album entitled Burden. This is their 2021 release entitled Stilte. Yeah, this band's out of Belgium, so I'm assuming it's announced Stilte as the album title. If I butchered that, I am very sorry. I know some people are kind of turned off with some bands that are labeled as black and doom metal, just because they're black metal and doom metal can be very contrasting. They can be very hard to mesh together with the kind of ferociousness of black metal mixed with almost the melodies of doom metal, the slowness of doom metal. This band is able to encompass it like an atmospheric black metal style in with their doom metal. They don't quite go into that like post metal territory, but they do slow it down. This is 8 tracks, not 8 tracks. This is 5 tracks at 41 minutes. So the track times are a bit long. If there's anything, some people may feel like some of it may overstay its welcome. I personally loved it. There's a clear production on this, just the way it works, and just to see how far this band has come since 2015 when I was originally introduced to them. This is another fantastic release. If you're into Black and Doom, I would definitely think that you would like this. If you're not so much into Black and Doom, but you like atmospheric black metal and you do like doom metal, I would suggest that you check this one out. I think it may be in your wheelhouse. I do dig it. This one came in a little bit late. This is another one that might have squeaked into my end of the year list had it arrived to me a little bit earlier. This was released on Immortal Frost Productions. I think this one came out, I had it wrote down somewhere back in September, but it took a while for it to get delivered to me. But a fantastic release there from 1,000 Sufferings. I really like the progression that band has gone through. Next up, we have Slog with Graves. This is some more doomy type stuff. This is more of a death doom. It does have a few little hints of blackened elements going on in this as well. This was released in December. This one is also 41 minutes, just like the previous album that I showed, but this one is 8 tracks at 41 minutes. So none of the tracks on this really overstay their welcome. This features Jared Moran. He is a musician that I've featured bands that he's been a part of quite often on these videos in the past. He is a member of Cave. He is a member of Flittering, Maggot Crown. So you kind of get the feel with some of the projects that he's been in, that kind of cavernous, dark feel, and that is absolutely present on this as well. There is a track on here called Gluttonous, and that's kind of the epitome of what this band is all about. It's just dark, evil sounding death doom that I absolutely love. If you're into that kind of slow, painfully slow death doom, dark death doom, I implore you to check out Slog. This is a phenomenal release. Good stuff there. Next up, this came out in December on paper, but I don't think the physicals were released to January. I'm only saying that because I'm giving myself a disclaimer already for my 2022 end of the year list, because I have fallen head over heels in love with this album. This is the debut full length from the band Aylak. Aylak is out of Salt Lake City, Utah. The name of this album is Rake of the Astral Leviathan. And I don't even know how to begin to describe this. I'm going to call it progressive death metal. I'm calling it that because you have the very first track, you have these clean vocals. It starts out sounding like a straight up power metal song. I know clean vocals will turn a lot of people off in death metal. All of the vocals aren't clean. After that track, which is less than 2 minutes, you get the growls. You have some tracks that have a bit of the cleans and growls mixed, but don't let that deter you from checking this out. If you're listening to that first track and you're like, I don't really dig this, let it go. I, for one, absolutely love that first track. I love how they're able to jump between sounds and blend sounds so flawlessly on this album. They mix stuff together that you would not think would mix together well. They absolutely are able to do that. It seems like every soundscape that they're working on putting together, they're masters at that craft. It is absolutely insane how they're able to do that. It's not natural. It's I don't know. It leaves me almost at a loss for words. I absolutely love this. I'm going to cheat a little bit and say that this can go on my 2022 end of the year list because I love this album so much that I'm already making plans to put it on there. It's just 33 minutes of a fun, melodic, death, traditional metal ride, and it's so much fun. Check this out. Life After Death Productions absolutely hit it out of the park when they found this album and released it. I'm so glad they did. So glad that I've kind of stumbled upon Life After Death and ordered so much from them. This was the first order that I made in 2022, and I have no qualms about that whatsoever. Fantastic release from Eallic. Definitely do yourself a favor and go check that one out. Next up, this is one that I think a lot of people have not seen. This band is not even featured on Metal Archives. It features three brothers and a vocalist. The band is from Finland. The vocalist, the lyricist, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your name, so I'm not even going to try. This was released through Transcending Records back in November. It features three brothers, two of which were former members of the band Omnium Gatherum, melodic death metal. This is Solar Cross with Echoes of the Eternal Word. How do I describe this one? This is more kind of traditional metal mixed with death metal. It has like that death and roll feel going on this sometimes. One track that can absolutely highlight that sound is the Ever Unfolding. That's one is a highlight track for me on this. That just has a very, very strong death and roll feel going on. Lyrically, it has these kind of Finnish folklore vibes going on this as well. Just a mix of traditional metal and melodic death metal, and it's absolutely phenomenal. The Bandcamp that I'm going to link up in the description only has the digital copy, so I am going to link up the Transcending Records web store right under that. That way, if you hear what you like, if you like what you hear on the Bandcamp, you can pick up a physical copy from Transcending Records. But Solar Cross, absolutely love this. I just stumbled upon this I don't even know how I actually stumbled upon this. I think it just from the simple fact that it's on Transcending Records and I happened to see it while on that site, and it kind of intrigued me just from that album art. And I absolutely love everything that I heard from it, and I had to order it, and I'm so glad that I did. So killer stuff here from Solar Cross. Definitely check that one out. If you're a fan of Omnium Gatherum, fan of melodic death metal, I think you'll dig this as well. Death and roll, another genre there. The last one, probably the most epic release on this, definitely the most epic release on this list. This is the one that absolutely would have been on my 2021 album of the year list had this come in a little bit earlier. Shipping is just an issue. Shipping is a big issue. I ordered this directly from the band. I know that it came out on some labels, but I wanted to support the band, and I ordered it from Switzerland. That's where the band is located, so it definitely took a little bit longer to get here than I would have liked. No fault of the band or anything like that, so please don't take it that way. This is the third full length from Cân Bardd, entitled Devoured by the Oak. Cân Bardd is I don't know how well the camera is going to pick up the artwork there. Cân Bardd, I'm sure you've already heard this album talked about. I know Tony over at Life Eternal channel, went blank there for a second, did a pretty nice little review on this album himself. This is epic. This is atmospheric. This is folky black metal done absolutely right. This is about as perfect of a release as I could imagine in any of those genres. The band is Swiss, and one thing that I like about them is they mix up the vocals. One track will be in Swiss, and then a track will be in English. So it's kind of, being an English speaker myself, I like having tracks that I can relate to, tracks that I can hear and know what's going on in those tracks. The title tracks, there's actually two. There's Devoured by the Oak Part 1 and Devoured by the Oak Part 2. Those two tracks are definitely my favorite part of this album. It feels like the everything is just flowing perfectly, almost like a stream. It's just, you got the little bumps over the pebbles, over the rocks as the water flows and the music flows, and it's just absolutely wonderful. If you're into atmospheric black metal, if you're into folky black metal, if you're into the epic sounding black metal, you can do no wrong by checking out Cân Bardd. I'm sure most of you have already checked them out, but just by the off chance that you did not, I wish that you would just take a few seconds to check this out. I think this could change your life almost. And I ordered it straight from the band, as I said, so they were nice enough to sign this little card and send a little thank you card. I always appreciate when bands are thankful and go above and beyond just to thank the people that support them. That's all I've got for this one. I hope you take the time to check out these albums, as I kind of painstakingly went through to choose the 7 for this video, just for the simple fact that it's been so long since I've done a 7 Deadly Spins. These are all albums and EPs and releases that I stand firmly behind, and I think you guys will enjoy them if you take the time to check them out yourselves. That's all I've got for today. I will try to get a CD collection video up, hopefully by the end of the weekend, if not mid part of the week. Stay classy, stay metal. I will see you guys very soon, I promise.